So let me just get something out of my chest off here. I've done a couple of videos already on the channel with the war that's going on between the Gen Xers and the Gen Z alphas and millennials and whatever, because I will still preach to this day. We had more fun you had more fun without social media than you guys do have it. Going to the clubs, going to your house parties, doing your stupid little TikToks, doing your stupid little stunts that's going to hopefully get 12 million views and you get a paycheck. You know, us Gen Z people and bloomers, we actually had it pretty good. You know, my sister, God bless her, gave me a really, really cool Christmas present. Long live Fraggle Rock. But all this stuff that we do now, we now copy it and use it just like Gen Z, and then they wonder, oh, we're not allowed to use. Oh, you started a war now you can't finish. Because the world is in evolution. You're supposed to take this to the next millennial, but some people don't want to work 40 hours. They're figuring this whole thing out. And then we had all these toys and play and stuff and everything, and we did all this stuff, and some people still do this stuff. Do you Gen Z people want to do it? It's the big phrase meme. Ain't no one got time for that. Part 3, people. Let's go to work. Yes. I love doing stuff on the fly. Yes. God, I can't remember where she got this, but she got me another one. I might have to hang it up on my brand new wall that I finally put some hooks up in there. It'll change up every once in a while. But in any case, this stuff, it just feels a little bit better, and I feel a little bit more, I don't want to feel more, like claustrophobic, because now I got stuff you can actually view. I don't know if I need to change this stuff in here, but here's the deal. We're going to hang out and we're going to have another one of these lovely things that we're talking about with the Gen Z millennials. We do this every other chance. If you have not got a chance to see part 1 and part 2, oh boy, what are you waiting for? There's a thing called a subscribe button. You get to see when the new stuff's coming out. And if you do like a lot of this, please chuck a like on it, because I really, really do appreciate you. We're getting close to 50. And like I said, I don't ask for much, but we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. It's gonna happen. And happy 2024, by the way. You know, I get to show off some of this stuff like this and that stuff, and I'm wearing Hartford Whaler hats and long live the whale. But I'm gonna tell you something. After all this time of just knowing in this past year, 2023, I don't want to sit here and say it was one of my more boring years, because as I get older, you start losing people and you start filtering in on what you need to take care of in your life. Do you need to take care of your happiness? Do you need to take care of your health? Do you need to take care of your work? You need to take care of your personal stuff. Always, here's a good tip for us as the Gen X boomers. Always be proud of where you came from. Don't ever forget where you came from and what you struggled to try to get, and all that stuff that's going around, and what we used to live with as families and as people and as kids, because there's a lot of things we don't have now that the Gen Z millennials killed. Saturday morning cartoons are gone. If they're still around, are they getting up to watch it? Are you getting a bowl of cereal, a bowl of Fruit Loops and Honey Nut Cheerios or whatever, and you're sitting in front of the TV and getting up? Or are you getting waffles, a Pop-Tart or something, and watching Saturday morning cartoons? From between 1960 to 1995, maybe even 2000 was the time of Saturday morning cartoons, and it's irrelevant. Gen Z millennials, they don't got time for that. Absolutely not. They'll still sit there and say, oh, I love Bugs Bunny. I love this. I love watching all that stuff and all that. There are people who I know that are my age that are still worshiping Winnie the Pooh and Emu and all those characters. Care Bears, Rainbow Bright, Strawberry Shortcake, all those characters from back where we used to grow up. That was a lot of the girl stuff. Then there was there's the gummy bears and the wolves or whatever they're called. Us guys were watching GoBots and Transformers and Mask, one of the best ones ever, by the way. We were watching G.I. Joe and all these certain things. And then there was a lot of different cartoons that only lasted maybe a year or two. I mean, dude, Cartoon Network was the bomb. 6 o'clock, 5, 6, 5:30, 6 o'clock. It was like dinner time. You couldn't wait for cartoon, and you didn't know what was going to be on. You did not know. You didn't know who was on. Clue Club, Jabberjaw, Yogi Bear, Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch, and trust me, Gen Zs, they have no idea who these people are. They have no idea. I've never heard of these cartoons ever. You know who Gen Z remembers? Dexter's Laboratory. Not bad. Johnny Bravo, cartoon, you know, Samurai Jack. My favorite was Ed, and Eddie. I'll give you that one. And then the Powerpuff Girls, and that was their era. And unfortunately, cartoon is not around much anymore. Cow and Chicken, and you know, I knew what I grew up with. There was the Space Ghost era, Jenna of the Jungle, the Barbarians, and all this stuff, and the old stuff Hanna-Barbera put out back in the day. We grew up with that stuff. Was it Saturday morning cartoon? Not all of it, but this is what we had when we had fun and watching stuff on TV. I don't know what Gen Z millennials are going to gravitate to as far as cartoons. I really don't, because that was our go-to. I mean, Bugs Bunny's going to be around forever. Popeye's going to be around forever, and and the old stuff is the best stuff. I mean, Mickey Mouse will still be around. They're worshipped by everybody everywhere in the world. But it's a whole different world now. Disney tries to use Pixar and everything else, and the evolution just continues. And yes, we as Gen X people will remember and gravitate to the old stuff. And sometimes when it gets recreated into new stuff, it almost gets a little bit twisted. Is it worth watching the new stuff, or is it better in the old stuff? It's too difficult to even try to calculate, because there's going to be Gen Z millennial experts that are going to legitimately put their 2 cents out there, and just because they're a Gen Z millennial, they count. They won't want a 40-year-old that's going to throw their 2 cents in, and they're going to get overruled, because this is the world we live in. But I miss cartoon. I mean, I only threw like a couple things. I didn't make a whole entire list. I threw stuff right off the top of my head, and I remember like it was yesterday watching Blue Falcon and Dog Wonder and all that stuff. I'll tell you what, this is a sad, and I want to say it's a sad world, because the youth of America is going to pop up on Instagram and do those little things like, hey, us Gen X people are why are we talking crap about them? Are you okay? Are you guys okay? like you really want to answer that? You want to answer that question? You want to trust me? We're the bigger person. The last episode I did, we talked about like we are still the bigger people. We're older than Google, but you'll get mad at us if we use Google. How about you go back and see all the stuff that we had to fight for? Whether it was an Atari and in television. How about handhelds? You know that thing. There was a game called Merlin and a big red toy called Merlin. Try playing that. See how far you get. What else was there? We learned on the fly. Speak and spell. The Professor Calculator, that little yellow thing. That was our calculator back then. The Mattel stuff, the Mattel football. I mastered that game. We fought for those things. Those were our entertainment. You couldn't figure that out if we put it in front of you and gave you an hour to figure it out. I'm not going to put mortgage on it, because you'd probably cheat to find it out, trust me. We still learned how to have fun back in the day. We ride our bikes around the neighborhood. We thought, and you know, Slim Sherry's correct. We'd all ride our bikes all around the neighborhood like we were a gang. We were like Son of Anarchy, whatever that show that was. But we would play baseball. We would try to get as many kids as we could and play baseball, street football, hide and seek. We tried to find everybody, man. We tried. It was baseball, and then we'd have the old Gen X bomber, lawn darts. Yeah, they were a big thing. I had something a long time ago when I was very little. It was beanbag tic-tac-toe. You just put it out in front of you put it out far away and you throw beanbags and you try to get tic-tac-toe. That was our entertainment. That was the original cornhole. Look it up. Anyway, we had that stuff. The jungle gyms we would buy. Home Depot and Lowe's wasn't around back then. We had to go somewhere else and find a jungle gym and a swing set. We get backstops if you really wanted to be a pitcher in baseball. I know it bounced back, but if you threw it too hard, it'd go through the backstop. You threw it outside the backstop, you had to go chase it. Talk about discipline. These Gen Z kids, it's simple. All that stuff that we had, I ain't got time for that. I don't want to play board game night. I got a TikTok to do. With laughter. You have a TikTok to do. You have an Instagram to follow up your 3 million views, your 3 million followers. Trust me, I know a few in the area. I know a few. Me and a handful of people in my old work. We know a few people that are like that. They don't know the struggle that we had from everything, especially trying to get music in. 8 tracks to tapes to CDs to your iPod. They brought vinyl back. Vinyl's starting to pick up back again. You wanted to take stuff where you had a big old Walkman, whether it was a cassette or whether it was a big CD, you were hauling that puppy around. That was before the days of the iPod. And music's not the same anymore, as we already have talked about that in the club eras and the club days, which I'll still continue to talk about. And those 2 episodes are on my channel. Check that stuff out when you get an opportunity. There's no 8 to 21 and under dances anymore. You promoted there will only be 20 people showing up. I know that because I have a very good DJ friend who's confirmed that stuff. I know a few of that because there's a lot of people who want to become DJs, but not old school DJs who did stuff the original way. Because now technology is blown up, and now they're trying to do stuff the new way, with not just the scratching, but the technological way, or some sort of just trying to do it with your MP3 system. Search for the songs. Because back in the day, you wanted a song, he didn't have it. Tough baloney. Tough. Deal with it, or leave. You didn't have a song. You didn't. Sorry, not sorry. I brought my case. This is what I got. Do you have? Well, what? Do you have back that thing up? No. Bye. Now you can get it anytime you want if you're hooked up to Wi-Fi to wherever you're DJing at. Trust me, my friend, who I someday will have on this channel, can tell you the same exact thing. Trust me, he knows his stuff, and you can't even find that stuff. It's hard to find pictures and videos. I mean, you can still Google it and find what the types of days we dealt with trying to find 80s and 90s dances. Not on TV. We're not talking about Dance Party USA and Club MTV, although Club MTV and the grind rocked. That was part of my kind of motivation to get into dance. But you couldn't find plain videos of us in the club. The most popular one is State of Consciousness, the raves in London and in Dublin and all that stuff. That was just the music getting into the people. We had fun. I still have a thread of the stepping and the step and the fashion. You could not beat that. That era with the fashion, the circles, you couldn't beat that. Period. What does Gen Z Millennial do? A what? I just try to join in and just try to be part of the crowd. At 48, 49, whatever. I mean, the music, I like some of it today, but try going and finding pictures of club atmosphere, whether it's the 70s or the 80s or the 90s, or 90s and 2000s, what was my era. raving those pictures. It's apples to oranges, and I can sit here and say we had more fun than you guys did, and you guys run all the clubs now. Ibiza and Japan, London, DC, Miami, LA. the young people of this generation, sure, you're packing the places, you're doing the things you like to do, you're taping it on your phone, and you're showing that we are the greatest era ever, and Gen Alpha hasn't even evolved yet. We've had our time, and we had it pretty damn good. And you believe we are not in any way, shape, or form up to your level? Try living in our shoes. We had no social media, scandals everywhere, whether somebody left with another guy or another girl. You couldn't find them unless you called 9,000 numbers. Now you can message and text everybody in 2 seconds. I miss those days. I literally miss those days for as far as I can throw. I mean, guys, I don't know how many more stories I can tell you, but I can truly admit that we had it pretty good. They don't have board game. I mean, if you're not out in clubs or anything, you have board game night. And some of those nights are still going on, whether you're playing Clue or Sorry or any Trivial Pursuit. That was one of my best ones too. That was my favorite board games ever. But Monopoly will kill people. Monopoly is the greatest board game probably ever, and it will destroy friendships. And it has destroyed friendships for over 70 years. They don't got time for that. Gen Z kids don't have time for that. Oh, they'll figure it out. They'll figure out the rules and everything, because board games were this big. When you were in the toy store, they were this big. Now they're this big. They're tiny. Because they put out new stuff. They like the card games are more big now. I mean, I've run out of stuff. Not really, but it's just something to fathom. Was there something that you had back in the day that you know darn well Gen Z couldn't master? Throw that comment in. I want to see it. Let the whole world see it, for God's sake. We will continue to keep talking about this stuff, and trust me, ain't nobody got time for that. Because trust me, Gen Z millennials, they got their own world. They think they got the answers. It's like Roddy Piper said, you think you got all the answers? We got them. We changed the questions. Please put a comment in. What do you remember you have that Gen Z millennials will never ever figure out? I love talking this stuff. I did this on the fly, did a little bit of a fact chart. I mean, half and half, kind of did my homework, but in a way, I enjoyed doing this video. This was kind of cool. This is the third one. I may do a fourth down the road, because trust me, there's going to be people that are going to be coming on. We're going to share this whole thing out to everybody. So shout out to my friends in 2024. I hope I get to see you guys soon right here on this podcast. And until then, I will shut the bar down as the bar is closed. And I will thank each and every one of you for hanging out again today. We appreciate you. Please continue to support the channel. Hit the subscribe if you want to see more. You continue to see this stuff. Please chuck a like when you can. And guys, it is a pleasure. And I am going to get my butt out of here and, try to, I don't necessarily know what, I need to do. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta close the bar. We've been here long enough. Appreciate you hanging out. I'll see you guys on the flip side. See you bloody legends on the next one. Laters. Let me see if I can get this one.